Good morning, guys. Thank you for being there. And I'm really sorry, but I'm working again from my car, waiting again for a client. It's early morning. I'm in the center of Brussels. In fact, I'm not so far from what you see behind me, the atomium, my small thermos. And we absolutely have to read the two last pages of the first part of the book because the next part, so next week, will be about Cosette. Cosette is the child of Fantine. So this first part was Fantine. So we must absolutely end this part. And so if you remember well, you know that Javert, he's taking Jean Valjean. Now he's called Jean Valjean, again to prison. He discovered he's a criminal. He was the one who was the galley slave. So here they are, both in the room of Fantine, who's really, really sick. Okay, and so Jean Valjean se tourna vers lui et lui dit rapidement et très bas. So, Jean Valjean, so now we don't call him anymore Mr. Madeleine, we call him Jean Valjean. He's again the galley slave. So Jean Valjean, turned himself, but turned around towards him. And him here is Javert, the policeman, and said to him rapidly, so in a hurry or rapidly, he said, and also very low. Very low. When you talk about the voice and you want to say softly, you say low in French. So he said to him in a soft voice, accordez-moi 3 jours. Hein? Accordez-moi, like give me, grant me 3 days. So Jean Valjean is asking 3 days of Javert. He says, I need 3 days. 3 jours pour aller chercher l'enfant de cette misérable femme. So, 3 days pour aller, to go and get the child of this miserable woman. Yes, because, you know, Fantine, she wants her child, Cosette, who's living with the innkeepers, and Jean Valjean wants to go and get her. Je paierai ce qu'il faudra. I will pay what is necessary. Yes, this verb falloir, we've had a lot of times. It's not very easy, but it means to need or sometimes to have to. So I will pay what is needed, which will be needed because it's a future tense. Good. So, vous m'accompagnerez si vous voulez. So, you will accompany me if you want. So he says, you can go with me so that I cannot run away. Tu veux rire? Cria Javert. Do you want to laugh? So meaning, is this a joke? Screamed Javert. Ah, ça, well, that. Je ne te croyais pas bête. I did not believe you stupid. So I did not think you were stupid. Meaning, I know what you could be doing and probably to escape. Tu me demandes 3 jours pour t'en aller. You are asking me 3 days to t'en aller, to go away. This temps or sans part is the away, to go away, to run away. Tu dis que c'est pour aller chercher l'enfant de cette fille. So you say that it is to go and get the child of this girl. Ah, c'est bon. Ah, he says, that's good. That's a good joke. That's good, meaning it's a good joke. Voilà qui est bon. Ah, there you have a good joke. Fantine eut un tremblement. So Fantine was laying there in the bed. She had like it says like she had a shiver, but means she was shivering. Mon enfant, s'écria-t-elle. Allez chercher mon enfant. My child, she screamed out. Go and get my child. Elle n'est donc pas ici. So the donc means so, and well, in English you have to put it in front of the sentence, not in French. So she's not here. Ma sœur, répondez-moi, où est Cosette? Ma sœur, my sister, but here she's calling the nun. You call nuns ma sœur in French. So, sister, answer me, where is Cosette? Je veux mon enfant, I want my child. Monsieur Madeleine, Monsieur le maire. Mr. Madeleine, Mr. Mayor. Then, Javert regarda fixement Fantine et ajouta en reprenant à poignée la cravate, la chemise et le collet de Jean Valjean. So Javert looked at Fantine fixement means like, yes, in fact, regarder fixement, the two together means to stare. Hein? He stared at Fantine and added, while taking again à poignée, I would say in a strong grip, the tie, the shirt, and the collar of Jean Valjean. So he's holding him by his collar, by his tie. Je te dis qu'il n'y a point de Monsieur Madeleine et qu'il n'y a point de Monsieur le maire. Well, we know that point is the same thing as saying pas, at least more or less. So I tell you that there is not anymore, or there isn't, a Mr. Madeleine, and there isn't a Mr. Mayor. Il y a un voleur, il y a un brigand, il y a un forçat appelé Jean Valjean. This horrible Javert says, there is a thief, there is a criminal, there is a forçat, was a galley slave called Jean Valjean. C'est lui que je tiens. It's him that I'm holding. Voilà ce qu'il y a. That is what there is. There's no mayor, there's no Mr. whatever, there's only Jean Valjean. Poor Fantine. So Fantine se dressa en sursaut. So Fantine, and se dresser could mean to stand up. I think here it is like she sat up because she was in the bed. She sat up en sursaut, what shall I say, with a start, at once, hein? With a start. Appuyée sur ses bras roides et sur ses deux mains. Let's translate already that. So, appuyée sur means like leaning on her arms, her stiff, roide is her stiff arms, and on her two hands. So she's like sitting up in the bed. Elle regarda Jean Valjean. She looked at Jean Valjean. Elle regarda Javert. She looked at Javert. Elle regarda la religieuse. She looked at the nun. You see, the religious person at the nun. Elle ouvrit la bouche. Oh, let me put it in blue. So, elle ouvrit la bouche comme pour parler. She opened her mouth as to speak. As if she wanted to speak. Un râle sortit du fond de sa gorge. Un râle, it's a groan, but I must say, so when people are dying and the sound that's coming out of their mouth, that's also called un râle, like the death groan or whatever you might call it. So I think she's dying, but let's see. So un râle, a groan, came out from the bottom of her throat, deep down her throat. Ses dents claquèrent. So her teeth were chattering. Elle étendit les bras avec angoisse. So she stretched out her arms with anguish, but maybe with fear. Ouvrant convulsivement les mains. So opening her hands convulsively, like, yes, it's the same word in English. You mean it's like convulsively meaning like in an uncontrolled movement, et cherchant autour d'elle comme quelqu'un qui se noie. And searching around herself, around her, like searching around as somebody who is drowning. Se noyer is to drown. Puis elle s'affaissa subitement sur l'oreiller. Then she s'affaissa is like she sank down all at once on the pillow. L'oreiller is the pillow. Sa tête heurta le chevet du lit. So her head knocked, yeah, what shall I say? Yes, was knocked down on le chevet du lit. It's the I think it's like her head knocked against the head of the bed. Le chevet du lit, you know, is the part that's behind your head, like the head of the bed. Et vint retomber sur sa poitrine. And came, fall down again, so her head, on her chest. La bouche béante, her mouth wide open. Les yeux ouverts et éteints. Her eyes open and éteints. It's like extinguished, but here I think died out. Huh? There was not any light anymore in her eyes. Elle était morte. She was dead. Poor girl. Poor girl. She has not seen her daughter. So, okay. Jean Valjean posa sa main sur la main de Javert qui le tenait. So Jean Valjean put his hand on the hand of Javert who was holding it. Et l'ouvrit comme il eût ouvert la main d'un enfant. And opened it, opened the hand, as he would have opened the hand of a child. Puis il dit à Javert, then he said to Javert, vous avez tué cette femme. You have killed this woman. Yes. Finirons-nous? Let's finish this, cria Javert furieux. Screamed Javert furious. Je ne suis pas ici. I am not here. And we go to the second page for today and the end of the chapter. So it's page 106. Pour entendre des raisons. So I'm not here to hear any reasoning, any reasons, he doesn't want to hear anything. Économisons tout ça. Let's save all that. Let's not spend energy on all that. La garde est en bas. The guards are downstairs. Marchons tout de suite. Où les poussettes? Ah, yes. So let's walk immediately. Let's go away. Let's walk immediately. Or, les poussettes. You know, that was like a torturing device. Les poussettes. It's like, I mean, they put your thumb in between two screws, I think. I think you would call it a thumb screw, maybe. So he's threatening him. Il y avait dans un coin de la chambre un vieux lit en fer. So there was, in the corner of the room, an old bed in iron. En assez mauvais état. In a rather bad state. So it was old and falling apart. Qui servait de lit de camp aux sœurs quand elles veillaient. So which served as a camping bed, like an extra bed to the nuns, the sisters, the nuns, when they veillaient. I think like looking after someone or watching someone. Like when people were sick, the nuns were watching and sometimes sleeping there. Jean Valjean alla à ce lit. So Jean Valjean went to this bed, disloqua en un clin d'œil le chevet déjà fort délabré. Don't know really what he's going to do. So he dislocated, he took apart, in, shall we say, in a blink of an eye, un clin d'œil. The head of the bed, already strongly broken down. And délabré means broken down. So he took that chevet, the head, I think so. Chose facile à des muscles comme les siens. So easy thing to muscles like his. He has strong muscles. Saisit à poignée main la maîtresse tringle et considéra Javert. He's going to threaten Javert. So he took. À poignée main means in a strong grip, firm-handed, we could say. The main rod, tringle, it's a rod, it's an iron rod. You could use it to put curtains on, but here it's like the main rod, like the thing that is holding the head. And looked at Javert. Consider him looked at Javert. So he's threatening Javert. Javert recula vers la porte. So Javert stepped back towards the door. Jean Valjean, sa barre de fer au poing, marcha lentement vers le lit de Fantine. Son Jean Valjean, the iron rod, fer is iron, the iron rod in his fist, walked slowly towards the bed of Fantine. Quand il y fut parvenu, il se retourna, sorry, this is pas si simple. So when he had come there to the bed, he turned around et dit à Javert d'une voix qu'on entendait à peine, and said to Javert in a voice that one heard. À peine means merely, you could almost not hear. What does he say to Javert? He's threatening him. Je ne vous conseille pas de me déranger en ce moment. Oh my God. It's so well written. So I do not advise you to disturb me in this moment. Ce qui est certain, c'est que Javert tremblait. So what is certain is that Javert trembled. Il eut l'idée d'aller appeler la garde. He had the idea to go and call the guard. So Javert says, oh my God, am I going to call the guard? Mais Jean Valjean pouvait profiter de cette minute pour s'évader. But Jean Valjean could take advantage of this minute to evade, to run away. Il resta donc, so he stayed, saisit sa canne par le petit bout, so seized or took his walking stick by the small end, et s'adossa au chambranle de la porte sans quitter du regard Jean Valjean. And then we have the verb s'adosser, and you see the word dos, D-O-S. That's your back, your back. So he put his back against the chambranle de la porte. This is really like the door frame, without leaving Jean Valjean with his eyes, with his look with his eyes. So he's keeping his eyes on Jean Valjean. And there he's against the door, leaning. Jean Valjean posa son coude sur la pomme du chevet du lit et son front sur sa main. So Jean Valjean put his elbow on the, well, la pomme, it's an apple, but it's also like, like the round knob, like sometimes it's a wooden or a metal knob of the head of the bed, and his forehead on his hand. So his forehead was resting on his hand. Il se mit à contempler Fantine immobile et étendue. So he started to, and this verb to start, se mettre à, we had that before, so he started to contemplate Fantine, who was immobile, motionless, and what shall we say, étendue, she's like spread out, or she's lying there on the bed. Il demeura ainsi, absorbé, muet. So he stayed there, absorbed means really concentrated, and mute means not speaking. Et ne songeant évidemment plus à aucune chose de cette vie. And not thinking, of course, anymore of anything of this life. Il n'y avait plus rien sur son visage. There was not, there was not, plus rien, not anything anymore on his face. Et dans son attitude, qu'une inexprimable pitié. Oh yes, now I understand. So, the ne que, you see the ne is earlier and then que. Those two together, it means only. So, there was in its attitude only this unspeakable or unexpressible pity. Okay, of course, for Fantine. Après quelques instants de cette rêverie, il se pencha vers Fantine et lui parla à voix basse. So after a few moments in this rêverie, in this daydreaming, you could say, he bent down towards Fantine and talk to her in a low voice, like softly. Almost finished, guys. This part of the book. La face de Fantine en cet instant semblait étrangement éclairée. So the face of Fantine in this moment seemed strangely lit up. Éclairé, it's like there is a light in there. La mort, c'est l'entrée dans la grande lueur. Death is the entrance to the big glow. Lueur, it's a glow of light. Wonderful sentences of Victor Hugo. La main de Fantine pendait hors du lit. The hand of Fantine was hanging out of the bed. Jean Valjean s'agenouilla devant cette main. So Jean Valjean knelt down, and in the verb kneeling down, s'agenouiller, sorry, you see the word genou. Genou, let me put it in blue, means knee. This word means knee. So he's kneeling down in front of this hand, the hand of Fantine, la souleva doucement, lifted it up softly, et la baisa, and kissed it. Puis il se redressa, et se tournant vers Javert, so then he stood up again, and turning around towards Javert, maintenant, dit-il, je suis à vous. Now, he said, I am yours. Okay, so we are ending here the first part, and you see, even when Jean Valjean, he is totally in the hands of Javert, he still has this natural authority in him, this strength that we feel throughout the whole part of this book. Now, the next part is called Cosette. So Cosette, the daughter of Fantine, and then we will talk about her. Oh my God, the light in my car is. Let me put. No, yes, there is the light again. Sorry. I'm still here. And now I'm really off to work, talking to my client, but I hope to see you next week, because next week we're starting the part called Cosette. Have a very nice day.